Well, it's 9:30. Normally our 9 o'clock meeting, we'll get started here at 9:30. Had a little technical difficulties on Friday, and we apologize for that. And sorry to make some of you wait a little bit, but I'm glad you're all here today. So we'll call this regular meeting of the Commissioners Court to order here on the 9th day of September, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. here at the Titus County Courthouse. We'll start with our prayer and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you today, thanking you, Lord, for all you do for us. And Lord, we just thank you for this beautiful weather you sent our way, and ask you just to continue to bless our county and our city and watch over and take care of us. Lord, just be with the first responders, the military people. Just watch over and take care of them, Lord. Bring them back home safely to it. Go with us now and forgive us before we fail. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Number 1, public comments and requests for information on non-agenda items in accordance with Section 551.042, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Have anybody want to speak on non-agenda items? I'd like to say Sheriff Bragg, elect Sheriff Bragg, and Captain Price, and Chief Deputy Livingston, and Hargrove. They called me over. We had our jail review on, was that Thursday, or that was Thursday, and they called me over and said it wouldn't take long, and we got over there and we got a great review. I've met with bank examiners all my life through the pre-needs at the funeral home, and they were a whole lot worse than that. But those 4 gentlemen did an outstanding job. We had no write-ups on anything. Everything looked to be in great shape over there, they said. And so very proud of y'all for bringing me into that, and not having a storm when I got there. But that's a credit to y'all and you and your 3 men that handled that in review, and we do appreciate that, Sheriff. Number 2, consider and possibly approve the minutes from the August 16th, 2024 special meeting of the Commissioners Court.
Go ahead.
Make that motion.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Applewhite to approve those minutes.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mitchell. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 3, consider and possibly approve the minutes from the August 26th, 2024 special meeting of the Commissioners Court.
I make a motion to approve.
We got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve those minutes.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 4, conduct a public hearing on county records archive funding from 2025. Ms. Brosnan.
Good morning. Every year, the county clerk's office preserves books and archives them from our deeds and records, and this year we're able to preserve them and with the book and digital, and I wanted to get this approved through the Commissioners Court so that we could get this done. It has a list of the books that are being preserved through this. Would be
Are we
deed
planning
records.
on playing these early in October so we get the 3% discount? Or
I'm sorry?
it says 3% discount for early payments. Oh, that's a different one. Just on the 2025. Okay.
It won't start until October the 1st. We can't do it until October the 1st, yes.
Okay.
But it's for volumes 75 through 79. And there will be a digital preservation up in Tyler Eagle for volume 75 through 79.
Got the cost on that?
I believe it's $27,000. It has been $45,000, and I switched companies. And when I spoke to the previous company and asked them about the digital, and it was going to go up to $55,000, and they're going to do the same work.
I thought me and you had spoken in there that it had gone down some, so that's
That was because I switched companies, yes,
Right.
sir. I've got that $45,000 in there because I might need somebody to come in and scan throughout the year.
Any questions?
We got to vote on this. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Applewhite to approve the County Clerk's Records Archive Fund for 2025.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mitchell. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries unanimously. Number 5, consider and possibly approve the resolution for the 2024 tax office exemptions and discounts. Melissa.
It's the same as every year. We're just going to go with the 3% in October, 2 in November, and 1 in December. 20% exemption of homesteads and over 65, $15,000 for that, and 100% disabled with an additional exemption of 10% or $10,000 on their homestead for 2024.
And in the resolution, this changes nothing from
Nothing.
the previous years. It's just a renewal of it.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve those.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 6, update from Lone Star Strategy Group, LLC. Ms. Hingat.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Good to see everyone again. I am here to give a brief update on where we are since the last time I was here in May, late May. I know that there was questions regarding the TERP grant that we were going to apply for your equipment. So if you remember the last time I was here, I told you we had a very quick turnaround. Unfortunately, they closed the application period before the deadline that was proposed, and that was because they had so many applicants. But what I have spoken to Ms. Nanette about is that it's not a lost cause. We still have U.S. DOT, so U.S. Department of Transportation, the EPA, and there will be other agencies that will also be opening up NOFOs or notices of funding opportunities for such equipment. And really, the grand scheme of thing is that they're trying to reduce emissions throughout the country. So this money is out there through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. It's just funneling through different components and agencies. So don't feel like it's a lost cause and we've lost all that work and all the information gathered. We will continue to ask you for more information on other equipment that you feel is failing and that can be replaced. So if you all could please get with your foremans and have that information for us. I know Ms. Nanette was just coming into her new role. We were in a transition. We needed to get different serial numbers and different equipment information, and it was just a difficult time, but it's not a lost cause. I don't want her to stress out or anyone else to feel like, all that work was done in vain. So that is the update on the TERP grant. The next thing that we spoke about back in May was trying to get you all a strategic plan on your facilities and the upgrades needed in all your county buildings. I believe that McKinstry did come in and assess your HVAC, and I know Mr. Ryan is here. That was to try to get you all to a place where you know what your critical needs are for your buildings and for your facilities throughout the county, so that you start developing a game plan on what you need to budget. It's basically deferred maintenance. I'm sure it's been occurring for a while because we tend to push that to the back, and then what happens is then you have a much larger problem and need so much more money to address these issues. So that is something that I had proposed to the judge and commissioner's court. I know y'all are still kind of talking about that, and that's still up in the air, but that was the main reason for bringing them in, to try to get us in a path where we know what we need to come up with. Either, I know this budget, time is kind of out of the way, but maybe for next year. We also have a meeting set up with SECO in Austin, and when I say we, that's McKinstry and myself, because we are looking for grant funding for these facility upgrades, but we also need them to come in and prioritize what your needs are and what facilities need to be taken care of, whether it's HVAC, whether it's water, whether it's lighting, and that way we have that to present to SECO so that we can go after that funding to help you all address those issues. And the next one is I have been in contact with the executive director from your Sulphur River Basin Authority. I work closely with the one in the Corpus area, which is the Nueces River Authority. And what I've done is it seems that they're a very good bridge between what we need and the Texas Water Development Board, also with TDA and USDA, because what they do is they come and assess your drainage issues, and that is something we mentioned because y'all had just had some flooding the last time I was here. So I have a meeting after this meeting with the executive director, and we're going to look at ways that we can possibly go after, again, grant funding through the state to go ahead and do these assessments and your drainage plan that we can then use to submit for the grant funding for your infrastructure, your drainage, and your roads. And the next one, I guess, will be on an action item on the next one, so I'll wait to present on that. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this update?
On the EOC, the Emergency Center, when is the...
We have not heard. I know they're going through all the appropriations hearings right now. We have not heard from your congressman yet on the funding on that. Now, I know that there's been, I guess, a shift, right, since we applied for that with the fire department, and you all are now, so this would solely be an EOC?
Right.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
I have some questions pertaining to the grant update. On the cybersecurity grant, I went in, we're on hold with that. So
yes, it's
nothing from that. And when I was reading the criteria, did you meet with the IT people before you applied for that grant that the county us to put our cybersecurity in place?
What we did is we went with the mitigation so that when and if you are granted that funding, and by the way, that funding is on hold because they're still scoring all of the applications. I was just at the conference, legislative update conference last week in Austin. I went to the cybersecurity grant funding workshop, and we had the gentleman from the Office of the Governor that is part of the panel. We won't find out here till probably the end of September who is granted that funding, and when we are granted that funding will be to mitigate any issues that your IT department has.
Okay, that doesn't really answer the question that I had, but that's the answer to it. Also, on you were saying on the TERP that the notice of funding closed, but my understanding is when my office was contacted, there was one piece of equipment that they couldn't identify, and we were working diligently, and I was given 24 hours to supply the information for the completion of that grant. And we were diligently working on that to supply it, and then when the time came, your employee told me the grant closed.
And
we've been working on that grant since May of 2022, and this was in June. So I know that the offices, this was in June when I was having the conversation of the closing of the grant, but the information, and it was on the May 20th court docket when we were moving forward with that. So we supplied the information immediately. So once again, we did a lot of work. We supplied information. Once again, nothing. The cybersecurity, we went on March the 26th, we were notified that we were held. It took a long period of time for that hold to be taken off, and now we're on hold, and I believe we're not going to be considered until next year. I'm not fully breast on this because when I'm reading the requirements for that grant, the auditor's office has a lot of requirements associated with it we knew nothing about. It was never communicated with us that we had to go in and audit the cybersecurity in every office and the components of it. So these are infrastructure things that the county has to build and have in place in order for us to comply. It's one thing to apply and receive a grant. It is another thing to execute it and to prepare the compliance. I was not the auditor when we did the ARPA grant. I was not the auditor when we did the CARES grant, but I worked diligently with the auditor. And there was a lot of work pertaining to us receiving those funds and validating that we were going to get them. Also, when it comes to ARPA, a lot of you, I contact them every month. I work with them every month. I make sure that our compliance is done. I make sure our annual reports are done. But now we have 3 grants out there. I have very little, if any, knowledge on them, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what, I've looked at the plan. On the neighborhood, on the one that you supplied with Nathan Moran's office, I was told there were 2 more letters that were supposed to be generated associated with that grant, and still I don't have copies of those letters from Cole Hefter and Mr. Fisher. I got an email saying that they were in process. I never got them. They were not part of the grant package.
Their chief of staffs told us that they were going to submit the letters and send those to us. Those never got to us.
Okay, that
So
was
you
on
don't have
June
them because we don't
25th
have
is
them.
when I got that notification. So I'm
Therefore, you
just
don't have
saying
them
that
because they don't have them, but with the grants, and sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong on that, once we apply for them, then we will have to get into some compliance letters and stuff of that nature as well with each grant. But that information that you've supplied her has not been in vain, because there's still going to be some other opportunities with the same
No, I
type of
haven't
things.
supplied any information. I'm saying
I thought the commissioners got all their equipment to her. Is that not right, Ms. Sylvia?
yeah, the commissioners and Monica were the ones that supplied it. I didn't even know what the list was until my office got notified they needed some clarification, and I immediately put it on the top of the agenda for my office and went to work. I know the commissioners know I contacted them. I sent lists. I'm just saying there has to be some form of communication with my office and with what we're doing with these grants, because ultimately the compliance and the burden for the county falls within our administration, not in the grant writer's administration, but in the administration of the county. And I just want us to approach these more like we approached the ARPA grant, and that was to put a plan to understand the grant, to understand the components of how it affected us as a county government, and what we needed to do to make sure that we complied with it. Because I'm hearing a lot of people on some of these grants, they pull back money, so they give it, then they take it away. I don't know yet, and none of us know what SB 22 is going to do and what they're going to claw back on that. We have funds on the books that we didn't expense. I'm unsure of it. So it's a burden on the Department of the Auditor to try to facilitate all of these different grants, because my goal is to take care of you. Absolutely. My goal is to take care of the county, and my goal is to make sure that whatever this county needs in the sense of financial planning, of budget administration, or grant administration can be handled in my department efficiently and effectively, so that we do our jobs the way we're supposed to do our jobs. And at this particular time, I want to tell this court we are overwhelmed. There's very little, if any, communication. And when I ask for things, these are the reports that I receive. I mean, I've asked for reports to accompany the invoices so that we know the status. And the last report I received is that they're waiting on a funding announcement on the community project grant, which I'm hearing today the 2 letters that were supposed to accompany we don't have. The cybersecurity grant is being reviewed by the Office of the Governor. I reviewed that myself. It looks like it may be next year, but at no time did the grant, when we wrote it, did we look at what our infrastructure was. I did this morning. Several of those components will have to be put into place, which is time-consuming to do. And then the TURP grant, we're just on hold. So I'm just asking the court to understand, and I wanted to put on the record where the auditor's office sits within conjunction to this, because ultimately the receiving of these funds from the treasurer's office, the supplying the information comes from our areas, and I just want to make sure that we do everything right.
Well, I think that's why on the SB 22 that we even had our employees decide that SB 22 went away, that those funds would go away. So I think that we are doing some due diligence on the other side of that, and until we get those more in depth and know if we're getting grants and stuff before we can know some of those answers to what the questions that you're asking us today, I believe.
And Ms. Nanette, in reference to probably 3 grants you mentioned, you know, last week in Austin on those breakout sessions, there was one on SB 22 with the questions you might have. There was one on the cybersecurity, and there was one on the ARPA So I think you're not the only one feeling that. It's every county, and that's why they have these sessions to bring that information to you all. I know that they were very happy with the applicants for cybersecurity because they feel like counties are not taking this serious enough. They do have their IT department, but that's not enough anymore. I mean, we have these hackers that are brilliant and getting into your systems, infiltrating your systems. So it is very important that we continue to apply for these. There will be another round in January. So that's why I know that they will notify us by October if we are funded, because January is the next round of funding for the cybersecurity. And that's the reason they had a breakout session. They're just urging counties to apply for this money. It's there, and there's a need for it now. That's just the beast we're fighting against at this time in our lives, right? It's just it's something different that we're not used to. As far as your ARPA and your CRF, those are very different because they're very broad. So I'm sure you have a lot going on with that with procurement. These are more specific to needs. The TERP, as I mentioned, we will use that information for further funding. And I don't know which other ones you mentioned. Oh, the 2 letters. Those are the 2 letters that the Chief of Staff said were coming that were never delivered to me. So I think that covers everything that you asked.
I think if we can communicate just a little more with Ms. Nanette, that would help her.
Yes.
And get her maybe on a better page with that. And so we'll work with that.
Yes, and we spoke about a week and a half ago, and I mentioned I'd be here today in person, and we'd have a face-to-face and kind of address all her concerns, and she wants a system in place on how we're going to go about these new grants, and I told her that would be a great way for us to start communicating, and she feels more comfortable with that.
Feel more comfortable with that?
I would just like to put more planning. For instance, the items that are put on the agenda, we find out like the day before or a couple of days before something was on the agenda. For me this time, I was not the auditor when these other items were put on the agenda, so I can't speak of that. But
if you're referring to the next item, there's some time frames only with this. I spoke with the city council on the way up to Dallas this weekend. I was on the phone with them. Monica got it late notice. Ms. Yvette got it late notice. Judge Liska is the one that reached out to me and told me about the funding of it. And then I got hold to Mr. Yvette, and then we started working. So, and you were gone some the week before on vacation. So. But it was a close deal on me as well as far as timing goes too. So not everything that we do put on the agenda we're going to be able to give you 2 weeks notice or a week's notice. Sometimes it's going to be a hurried deal to get it there for funding and things of that nature. But we will try to communicate a little better with you.
okay, I've just worked here for a while in the auditor's office, and it just seems so fast-paced and so fast-moving in the experience I've had here for the last 5 years. Just seems, it's just like boom, 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 you know, it's just really fast-paced, and we normally...
And I believe during
take a
that
step
time we
back.
didn't even have a grant writer. Is that not right as well?
No, we've never had a grant writer, and a grant writer is different than what we've had normally.
I understand that, but that's going to give us more work.
In a grant service to completely fulfill the role of the grant, so we are working like we did with the other one. So I'm not used to this type of setup. I just wanted to put it on the record.
Anyone got any other questions on the update? Any questions for Ms. All right, number 7, possibly an approved Lone Star Strategy LLC to apply for a U.S. DOT discretionary grant and funding. I'm going to let her speak a little bit about this, and then back to me speaking with some of the council members and them wanting to bring this to Titus County and Mount Pleasant as well. So go ahead, Ms. Smith.
Yes, Judge. This one was brought to me by Judge Liska of Live Oak County, and you know Judge Liska as well. This had a 1-week turnaround because they did not receive enough applicants. So there is a private company that is willing to put up the 20% match for you. So that means there's no cost to the county if this were granted. Additionally, you all would receive funding through the charging mechanism. So that brings in a little bit of revenue. And I know that we're all about fuel, and, you know, I'm not crazy about EV. I will never purchase an EV vehicle, but, I mean, let's be real, Texas is number 2 in purchasing these EV vehicles. So what it does for Titus County and Mount Pleasant is that it puts you on the map when people search, whether it's Apple or, you know, any other Google search for EV chargers. That would bring them here to your city, which means, you know, the tax base will increase, hopefully, and they'll sit here and they'll eat at your restaurants, and I think it's a good thing. It's a win-win. It's an opportunity we didn't want to miss out on. I asked Judge Cooper what he thought, and at first, of course, he said, you know, we're all about fuel. I'm very conservative, but I think the more he talked to Judge Liska about it, because Judge Liska has the same mindset as Judge Cooper, they realize that it is something good, and it is free money for your counties if you get this funding. So if you look at this synopsis that we put together for the application, I believe you have it in your packet. It kind of gives you the information of how the application is going to look for the most part. Of course, we have a lot of technical maps and architectural drawings and all kinds of stuff that needs to go into it. So we have been working diligently since we found out about this late last week. And then if you'll look at the last page, you'll see the proposed installation site. So you have both the county and the city. The property had to be owned by the county or the city, and the computer actually the program generated these spots because they are high traffic and open to the public. So I don't know if you all see anything on there that doesn't sit well or you might think needs to be added that's not on the list. I welcome any recommendations at this point.
The one thing that I talked with you earlier about is maybe the Caldwell Park over here. With speaking with Greg, the new city manager there, they're excited. They want some downtown to bring it to merchants. So instead of just sitting in your car, you can get out and go around and shop and spend some money with our county merchants down here and help the city grow as well. Talked with Councilman Spruill, and one of her big deals was one at the soccer complex, and it's already on here at the soccer complex. So I think it spreads things around. It gets some traffic off the interstate for them to come in here and charge their cars, and hopefully spend a little money with the merchants of Mount Pleasant and Titus County, and bring us some revenue in here as well. And then with the EV charging stations, then there will be a certain amount split between the city and the county. The first amount would be split, and we can use it however we wanted to. As far as if we want to put that in road material or things of that nature, be about $30,000 or $40,000 the first year before they start doing the charging. And then that could go to roads and materials and things of that nature, or what we need to do in the county as well. So I was really excited about it. When she first called, of course, I'm not an electric car man myself. Mr. Brandt's in here today. He's got one that's dual, right? Yours is both. But like I said, when you get talking to Mr. Liska about it and the opportunity that it brought to the county, with us being out of any expense on it and bringing that money into town, the city is very excited about it, and we're very excited about it as well. So
now I'd like to add that it will be about a year before we find out and this starts moving forward, so that way Ms. Nanette doesn't worry like we've got something else on her plate at this point. This is still about 12 months out, so it will take a little time.
And this is also a federal grant.
This is a federal grant.
So it'll be a little bit different than a state grant.
Yes, sir.
And then you would handle all the compliance and all that through your office.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes. And the thing is, because there's a private business.
Don't ask me a question.
We don't have the contract that says that.
There's a private business aspect associated to this. This is what makes it very different than just a regular federal grant that you all apply for. So there is also guidelines for that, and I can supply Ms. Nanette with those guidelines as well, but it makes it very different. It almost shifts the burden away from the county to the private sector, but yet gives you all the funding. So we can have a meeting with her as well, and the company, the private entity that's willing to put up the money.
That'd be great. You're shaking your head.
Well, I have no knowledge of this. When I looked at it,
that's why she wants to get you some knowledge and sit down with the business company.
that are associated with this have to be used for special purposes. What my research shows that in the last go-around, there were only 2 Texas recipients of this grant, and it was the city of Houston and the city of San Antonio. I reached out to when I found out about this on Friday, I reached out to other counties to say, why are you not going after this money? And the answer I got is because this doesn't really work with county. It's more cities, it's more community centers, it's more parking. And then the fees that are charged associated with these EVs, are certain mandates by the federal government of what these fees can be utilized for, similar to our court fees that we get certain fees. And that's just like probably an hour's worth of research that I was able to put into this, to a couple of hours. So I'm very uncertain about the components of this. And it does take a long time to get this grant. It is something that it doesn't happen quickly, but even on the front end, you have to kind of know what you need to have as an infrastructure set up in order to accommodate these grants. I mean, I'm just a worker here.
And that's why I spent over an hour on the phone with the gentleman that's the company that owns the company this weekend with Ms. Yvette on there as well. And we don't mind bringing you into those. And like I said, with it being funding, if we don't apply for it, we're not ever going to get it. And so it's a year out for sure. And then we've got some time that we can get those placements, put it in place to comply with whatever we've got to comply with. But with him being the business owner and him explaining to me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I heard the wrong thing this weekend, he told me that they could do that and it doesn't have to do with the county as far as going over the grant and all and making appliances with this. And did I hear something wrong?
No, that will be strictly on them as the private partner.
I understand. You're telling me no. Ms. Lynette, you're telling me no, and this gentleman's telling me yes, and the grant writer's saying that. So without some more information from them, I don't understand how we could say no to that.
Well, I'm not telling you no. I'm just saying I don't know what all of the work involved on the county side to accommodate the grants. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying whether you should do this or not do this. I'm just saying I had this coming into my office now, and it's, well, we're going to apply, and if we get the money, then if we get the money, I have to manage that piece. And I'm uncertain about what the management of that piece is.
And that's why we want to have a meeting with you, Ms. Yvette, and Mr. Bob, the owner of the company, so that we're all on the same page.
And that's another reason why when we went for the ARPA grant, we selected a company.
This is a different deal.
And we worked on that, and then we knew where we were. So I'm not accustomed to doing it differently. That's been my experience with it. And so that's why I would like to see someone that, if we get a contract with Lone Star Strategies to handle the full component of the grant, and then I just supply the information like I do for the ARPA grant, then that works great for me, Judge. I'm just saying right now I haven't seen any contractual agreement with someone that's going to pick up and do this piece. We're the ones providing the information. I just want to make sure I know what information we're supposed to provide. I mean, I do know that you do proposals where you not only do the writing, but you do the full structure of the grant. Are you understanding what I'm asking?
Yes.
Your contract doesn't do the full structure of the grant, does it, or does it not?
It does deal with it does deal with the administration of pretty much 95% of the grants. I do need the information from the auditor's office. I mean, I work with every auditor in every county. We have a partnership, it has to go through your office. Now, as far as compliance and reporting, I have no problem doing that. I just need to make sure that I have your authority to do that. But I do need information from you. I mean, there's no way I can just pull that from.
No, but there's difference between me, on other grants that we've had, I've submitted all of the compliance to the grant award through the system. So with this arrangement that we have with you, are we just going to be supplying you this information?
Yes.
And you're going to make sure that the county doesn't get liable for anything?
Exactly. Stays in compliance, yes.
So, but that's not noted in the contract that I thought we just hired you as a grant writer. And that,
I believe if you look at the very last bullet point, there is the administration component on there. The only thing that is added as well with that is that if there is any fee associated with it, that needs to be procured.
Right.
But like this one has no administrative fee, there's nothing to procure on this. This is just something that I would do out of my contract.
Okay, I didn't get the contract, so if that's what you guys feel that she agreed to in the contract, I didn't vet it. The county attorney isn't here for me to ask that question, so, I mean, if that's what you're saying, that you do follow through on everything and make sure, I just want to make sure that we don't apply and get large amounts of money coming in here, and then the money's earning interest, and then we have to refund stuff. I just want to make sure that the wheels are fully in motion. And this is something that my office is not experienced with grants. I know the prior auditor made a comment when she came into the office that she would not be able to do that part. And so I didn't get asked that question. So I'm just trying to make sure the court knows, I guess I would have to say, the limitations of what my office is going to be capable of doing other than supplying information. I mean, in that we have the information, we'll supply it, but the treasurer will have to manage the funds, and it comes in as an additional management. You know, we do have to manage these funds, and we do have to make sure that the procurement guidelines are followed and those things, because federal grants, we have to make sure, because most of the time when you get a federal grant, you will get audited at the end of the grant and that component. So did you see it through the audit, if it goes through audit? So
yes.
I didn't see that in there, but I'm assuming it's in the contract.
I mean, there's only so much I can do as a consultant. There's so much that you can do as an auditor. And those lines, there's no gray or blurred areas. It's gray and white. There's county business and there's consulting business. Now, I will be in charge of any reporting that you feel you want me to take care of. I will need the information from you and possibly the treasurer as well. That's just, every county I work with has never given me an issue about, I don't know, working with me. This is really the first, like I mentioned to you on the phone, this is the first time that I've had issues with the auditor with what I'm doing or how I'm doing things. I've been in business almost 7 years, and this is really the first that I've encountered. So it's very new to me. I'm trying to be as patient as possible and explain everything I can. But what it sounds to me is like you just don't want the county to go out for grants, and I don't think that's where the county stands. I feel like the funding is out there, we have to go after it, and it is going to take some internal work. I mean, my husband's a county judge, his auditor's office has to do that work as well when they apply for grants. It's just the system. I mean, it's the way it works. I don't know. I mean, that's probably a conversation we have to have one-on-one with the judge in closed quarters, and we can...
I never have said, I've spoken with the judge and he knows that. I've never said that.
Well, it really don't matter. If there's grant money out there and the commissioners want to go after grant money, we're going to go after grant money.
Right, I just want to make sure that I know that I don't, that I look at everything and I have an opportunity, because we have these last minute things
and once
that
again,
come up and they ask me for, I just want to make sure that we educate ourselves about what our role is in relationship to these things, because I think some of the commissioners on the court, this is fairly new. We've not done this.
Titus County has never had a grant writer. Right. Let me reiterate this. Titus County has never had a grant writer. Never.
Well,
She's
the grants that we did them through the auditor's office or through FEMA or through CERTS. We have done grants.
But we have never had a grant writer, period.
Right, and with that grant writer comes different duties to different offices that our plates are, well, I think what Annette's trying to say is that her plate is full. And we welcome the money, the additional money that y'all give.
That's not the point.
But with that, if you spur something on her, she's still got duties in her office, so she cannot put those duties aside to give her what she needs immediately, because otherwise people don't get paid and things don't happen. So I think what she's trying to say is, if we're going to do this, then that's great. That's what y'all decide to do, but maybe she needs some additional help in her office if we're going to do full-time grants all the time.
Back to the problem here that we've got. We're putting rabbits out. This is not going to be the norm. This is a different case. The money's about to run out. I talked to Judge Liska. He called me Wednesday. I may be wrong date. Called me one day this week. I got with Miss Yvette, told her I was interested in it. She got the owner of the business to call me Friday. We talked an hour and a half on the phone, and that's why this is so fast. Each grant is not going to be fast like this. We should be able to sit down with you. It doesn't matter if you were here or on vacation or not. I didn't know about the grant until Wednesday or Thursday this week. So that is why it's so rapidly moving forward towards this grant today. That's the reason. Because it seems like
it's not
grants have been, and they haven't been coming and saying, okay, you're going to do this right now, you're going to have it. All of the ones that we've been doing. And so it's just, it is new. It's new to all this too. And so when these monies come in, they're going to know what to do with them. So what are the regulations when we get these funds?
But you're okay with us applying for grant money, correct?
I have a question, Judge.
I never said that I didn't want us to get grant money either.
I didn't ask you
But
that.
as far as I'm sure you have your TAC hours and your training with VG Young and everyone else. When you all go to your training, do you all not specifically have breakouts on how to handle grant funding? Is that not presented to y'all? Really? No, it's good to know so that we can have these conversations with VG Young and TAC that this is something that you all need more information on procurement and the grant process, because that seems to be the issue here, that it's never been done. Now it's being done and it's extra work for y'all, but how do you go about it to be more efficient is what we're looking at.
I think some communication will help, and we'll move forward with it.
So, and then this grant is due Wednesday at midnight. So that is why we're pushing this very quickly, or we could have tabled this and discussed it and had more, round tables and then put it on the next agenda, but unfortunately that's not the case with this one.
Questions?
Is the city doing anything with this?
The city is 100% said they'd sign anything that we needed. I hadn't got votes from them, but I talked to the city manager, spoke with all of them. They're excited about us trying to go after the grant.
And Commissioner, I will be meeting with the city manager after lunch today, and I will have a letter of support from the city as well that I will include in the application, and Nanette, I will get you a copy of that as well.
I just don't, I don't like being pushed like that to get something done without enough research and all on it and enough communication that we know what's going on.
I feel comfortable with it myself, and I think that we should do it for the $4 million of infrastructure to put in charging stations and stuff in Titus County. I think it would be huge to the city. I think it would be huge to Mount Pleasant as well. Bring some people off the interstate. The only charging spots that we've got at this time are the 2 or 3 at Super One, and I think it could be huge for us. But
the other thing, Commissioner, is if you are funded in 12 months, you have that option to refuse the money and pass it up. My thing is just not passing up the opportunity to apply at least and give it a shot. And then if it's something that you all feel it's not right for you or it's not something you want,
you can reject it.
Thank you, but no thank you.
You said 40,000 on the first year, correct? Is that what you said?
1%.
Now, after this goes in, you got these charging stations going up. How do we get paid, or how do we get money off of that when they're? So
this company will have a contract with the city and with the county, depending on the chargers. Is how I understood. Like say the city has 5. I'm just throwing it out 5. Y'all have 4. They'll connect the fees from each one and then send in your, I guess, like royalties, basically. They will open up their own account. So the funding, you'll never be charged. In other words, the county or the city will not be charged for the electricity that's going through, but you will get the residual income of whatever is coming in. And that's something the judge and the company will, and county attorney will have to have a contract to make sure that's in place.
When I was talking with Bob, it was on how much usage they have. So we're not going to be charging anything if there's not much usage on them. If there's big usage on them, then we'll get a percentage at the end each year. Then they'll divide that up with the city and us.
And that 40,000 Judge mentioned is that they have, they will give 1% up front to the county to use as you please, like Judge mentioned, whether it's roads or equipment or whatever you need the 40,000 for, and that's what we see, that Titus is eligible for about 4 million, so he's basing it off of that. That's how we came up with that number.
And that don't matter how many charges.
Would the county just get on what's in the courthouse, or would we be all?
It's whatever county properties these EV chargers are on.
So we would just get the Titus County Courthouse?
Is that the only
Yes.
one that you have? Yes, and that would be the only one. The rest would be the city.
Yeah, community center.
Unless you, I'm sure that could be negotiable. The county is the applicant, and you tell the city, hey, we'd like to split that income. We get half, you get half, since we were the applicant for you all to get this, because they can't apply without the county. So that might be something to look at as well.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve to apply for this grant funding.
A motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to apply for the U.S. Strategy LLC to apply for the U.S. DOT discretionary grant for funding.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carried unanimously.
Thank you. And Commissioners and Judge and Ms. Nanette and the Treasurer, I appreciate all the questions. I think that communication is what we need here, be open and transparent. And I think things will start rolling a little smoother. This is new to everyone here. I understand that. And let's try to make this process a good one for all of us.
Right.
So,
Knowledge is power, and if we can get that and get her what she needs, and
yes, sir.
Then we'll all get on the same page. Be perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you a bit.
Number 8, consider and possibly approve a contingent fee contract with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, and Mott LLP pursuant to Section 6.3 of the Texas Property Tax Code. Contract being for the collection of delinquent government receivables owned to Titus County. Notice of said contract is posted with agenda in accordance with Section 2254 of the Government Code. We have Mr. Tim Taylor here. We got Wade Gent. Would you like to come and speak, Wade?
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. As the Judge said, I'm Wade Gent with the Linebarger Law Firm. I'm here with my partners today, Jim Lambeth and Richard Brand. This item on the agenda is something that obviously there's been some changes in the situation that necessitates the court considering awarding a new contract with a different law firm than what is used in the past. I'm here to request that the court give both firms that are in the mix here an opportunity to come and present a full presentation on the services that each of us offers. The Linebarger firm has had the honor of partnering with the tax office here in Titus County for over 30 years in representation of several entities. We would like to continue that on into the future by representing the county as well. We do have, because of that experience, we have the ability to know the properties, know the community, know the accounts, know the processes that are needed for pushing a case through and providing extra revenue for the county by delinquent tax collections. I wanted to point out that within about an hour of here, where we're standing, Linebarger, we have 5 actual offices, physical offices. We've got a couple more that are available by appointment. If the county was to consider a different firm than what's on the agenda and let Linebarger come, what you would hear is that we have 12 attorneys also within about an hour of where we're standing. There are about over 50 professional collections staff that are also within an hour or so. We have an excellent working relationship with the tax collector. We would request that we be given an opportunity to come and provide an actual presentation with the specifics and the data and the collections history that we have. We represent all the surrounding counties, and we would like the chance to at least make an offer to represent Titus County as well. But appreciate the chance to visit.
Thank you. On the agenda, it's got Tim Woods. That'd be Pat Woods, but we've got Tim Taylor here that is our collection agent right at this moment, and I'd like for him to speak on this.
Thank you, Judge, and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning. I got clogged up listening to all the stuff that was going on a while ago. Let me clear my throat just a minute. For the record, my name is Tim Taylor. I'm an attorney licensed to practice in the state of Texas. Currently, I represent Titus County in the collection of delinquent taxes. I've done that for the last 15 years in my private practice. Before that, I represented the county in the delinquent tax collection as a county attorney. So I've been doing this for the county for, I'm going to say 20 to 25 years total. In addition to that, I also represented the Titus County Appraisal District for over 30 years at the same time, and it worked really smooth. I had the county, the city, and the school, and the surrounding area all covered by the same attorney, and it worked really well as far as collecting the taxes for everybody. About a year and a half ago, as I prepared to ride off into the sunset like they used to do in those old movies, I wanted to scale back my practice, and I did so by telling the appraisal district that I no longer wish to represent them. At that time, they hired the Purdue firm, Purdue, I can't remember all the names absolutely, Purdue, Brandon, Fields, and Watt, to represent them, and I think that's something, a partnership that's worked out really well with the appraisal district. I'm here this morning to recommend to the court that they enter into a contract with this same firm, the Purdue firm, to represent the county after I finally ride off. And I am preparing to saddle up right now, folks. January the 1st, I plan on not representing the county anymore. I have done so, as I said, for the last 15 to 20 years. I told Judge Cooper a couple years ago that he asked me if I would give him notice when I'm ready to go, and I told him a month or a couple of months ago that I was ready to leave out of here. But to that end, I am prepared to stay and work with the Purdue firm to take care of everything and go smooth, whereas on January 1, they can pick up and take up just like I have been. I believe they're a good fit for the county. I've looked at them. Both firms, Feinberger and Purdue, are good firms. They're both good. They're both well-versed in the tax laws. I just feel the county would be more comfortable with Purdue. And this morning I have, or with me is Patrick Woods, who is a partner representing the Purdue firm. He's here.
Don't let me overspeak for you.
No, go ahead.
But when me and you met, and that's been a year and 9 months ago, when I walked up the steps the first time, I asked you if you'd come to me and let me know before you did want to ride away on your horse and not leave us sitting here without that. But with that being said, with Purdue there, you would work through with them and then on further if need be?
Yes, as local counsel, I could be available for them anytime they need me. And it's worked real good with the appraisal district also. We do the same thing. So I think things would continue on as they are. They've been good, and I would expect them to continue on.
Okay.
And like I said, Patrick's here to talk on behalf of.
Yes, sir. Judge Cooper, Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here. We appreciate the time. I want to just reinforce what Mr. Taylor said. Since we've taken over working for the appraisal district, we continue to work with Mr. Taylor, and it's been a very good transition. I think that the chief appraiser there would tell you that we've come in, and we've really done a nice job there. We do have an office here in Mount Pleasant. If we were to work and serve for the county, you could rest assured that your taxpayers would have a local office here where they could talk to somebody. And of course, Mr. Taylor's here to serve as local counsel as needed. I think it's a good fit for the county. I think the law firm fits well for Titus County. And I said, having one law firm represent all of the taxing jurisdictions now would be a nice fit for the taxpayers. So I can certainly answer any questions that you have and look forward to working with you.
Anybody got any questions for Pat? Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve the contract with Purdue.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve the contract with Purdue, Brandon, and Fielder.
Second.
Got a second with Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carried unanimously. Number 9, consider and possibly approve the interlocal agreement between Titus County and the volunteer fire departments concerning the SCBA air packs. Mr. Ward? Marcus, you want to speak before him or after him? The other day you said he was fat and wore out, so I didn't know if you want to go. I didn't know if you want to go before or after that. So, Mr. Ward.
Good morning. Back when the city and the county was talking about splitting ways, we purchased, the county did, purchase some equipment. One of them was some SCBAs. That was on my first line item. So when we went to buy these air packs, Greg Lloyd wanted to go with the MSAs. It saved us like $3,500 a pack compared to the Scott packs. Okay, everybody in the county uses Scott. I mean, so we got these packs in. They've been sitting in storage over here in the building for several months now. And these things have a hydro date and a shelf time on it. So these things really need to be put in service somewhere. So Greg and I talked about it. We got with the attorney's office, and they wanted proof from the VFDs that you are trained and certified to wear these packs. So I had 4 come in from 5-Star and 4 from Tri-Lakes and 1 certification from Sugar Hill. Then we got to talking about it some more. Well, this air pack system only comes with 1 charger. It charges 8 batteries at one time. All right, so then if these were dispersed through VFDs in the county, then we'd have to buy more chargers, or the VFD would have to buy them. And they're like $833 for a charger. So Marcus, well, after the last Commissioner's Court, when Greg Lloyd was here, Marcus told Greg Lloyd that 5-Star in Cookeville did not want nothing to do with the new mask. They wanted to stay with their Scotts. So Tri-Lakes, we have, I think it's 7, 8 packs now. And so I told Greg, I said, well, if that's what they want to do, if the county would lease them to Tri-Lakes, we'd take our Scott packs and give them to the other departments in the county free of charge. And Marcus was good with that. I have an email, and I gave one to Monica, I think y'all got it, that from Marcus stating that he thinks that all the air packs need to go to one department because they're 45-minute bottles. They're a little bit heavier. There's more technology. We only have 1 charging port for it. So that's where we're at here today, is to figure out where y'all want these air packs to go to benefit the VFDs in the county.
We definitely want them to benefit the county, and we don't want them sitting in the building. They're not no use to anybody if we're not using them. Marcus, do you want to, I do have your email here.
You're tall. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. On behalf of Cookeville, Tri-Lakes, and I'm also going to speak for Justin at Nortex, we believe the best thing to do is for these to be at one department. That way they're all the same. Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'd have to have all new masks too, right? They won't interchange with our Scott mask, which therefore we have people that wear glasses that have masks that already have their glasses built into them. So we would have to change all that. If Jerry gets all the new packs and he's agreed to disperse some of his Scott packs to us, that means his department has everything one way, which we can fill them on scene, not a problem, they'll still fill. Jerry at Tri-Lakes, whenever they fill a bottle on scene, They always want their bottle back. They don't interchange them, so we know they're all going to be good air packs that they have. They're clean air packs with good mask, and those will work great for what we need at Cookeville 5-star and anywhere else. And that way, all the new packs that are different, Jerry will have, so they'll have their masks, their packs, and they'll be ready to go for them. On behalf of those 3 departments, we feel that's the best thing to do.
As long as all the volunteers, I think it helps everybody, even though y'all are the ones getting the new ones. That's going to give some more. You're going to free up yours, and you're going to, I'm assuming they're going to spread out through the county. They're not just going to one department. Is that right?
That's what I believe, yes.
I think that's good, and your department's good with those air packs and stuff, and so I think that's what we should do.
How many of y'all got, Jerry? How many of y'all Scots have y'all got that did?
Pretty sure
8. Okay.
I carry one
And your department and all these other chiefs that you've talked to are good with taking some of those Scotch bottles as well from.
Yes, that way it'll be the same as what we already currently use.
Well, if it's all in agreement, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Applewhite Commissioner Mitchell to approve that. Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 10, don't run off, Marcus. Consider and possibly approve the interlocal agreement between Titus County and the volunteer fire departments concerning the vehicle extrication equipment, and Jerry Ward and Marcus as well.
All right, also too, there was extrication tools that was purchased when we were buying the field system, air packs, and all this kind of stuff too.
When you say that, I call it Jaws Alive. That's
Jaws Alive, yes, extrication tools.
Okay.
They're e-tools, they're electric tools. So anyway, when we got these in, there's still another discussion on who needed them in the county. So there was some social media stuff posted on it, but anyway, I'm not going to talk about that today. But 5-star got a set of electric tools last year through a grant, brand new ones. And Talco has some, Nortex has some, and Nortex is pretty old. Cookeville does not have any, and 1980 models. So anyway, I'm sorry, 1980 model. Tri-Lakes, we don't have a set because our last training we was doing with Mount Pleasant already blowed and we can't get parts for them. But I'm not actually asking y'all to give us these tools also. They need to go where y'all want them to go. Right now, they're on my rescue truck. On the 4th of July, when we go to Talco, Tri-Lakes does, our job is to work MVAs in the county. So I asked the judge and Greg would be all right if I put them on the truck that night in case something did happen, and they agreed to it. So I do have all the rescue tools at my station on my truck, and I have the batteries on my truck, and they're all fully charged and ready to go. So it's just y'all's discussion on where y'all want them to go in the county. I do have the interlocal agreements already done on them, been checked off by our attorney. So when y'all decide, judge sign, fire chief sign, and just we'll give them out to whoever they need to. So,
Marcus.
On the rescue tools, the set we have at Cookeville, 1989, I believe is right, is when they were built, probably built before that, that's when they were purchased. They were actually purchased by Mount Pleasant when they bought a rescue truck back then, and it come equipped with those tools. Part of them, some of them were older tools, but that truck has been passed around. It was at Sugar Hill for a while. Did y'all have it for a while? And anyway, it's at Cookeville. The tools are again, they're hard to get parts for. Last time we had them go down, they were down for about 7 months. They've just told us they're old and obsolete. The Cookville would like to have the rescue tools as we have I-30. We have 67, and we're right between Nortex and Argo. That way we could go either way if needed be with those tools. That's, like I said, we'd like to be in the running to get those tools to better our community on the east side of the county. And if we needed to go, we'd take them wherever they needed to be. If Mount Pleasant was tied up, and we'll run wherever.
With Trilex as well.
Correct.
And as far as the number of calls, Trilex has got not necessarily more calls, but are responding to more calls on the sheets and stuff.
Cookville and Argo, they get the majority of incident calls because the internet, there's a lot of calls on the interstate with 57, and then we have Mount Pleasant responding also. Some of the calls, sometimes 5-star, which Cookville make before Mount Pleasant does, sometimes Mount Pleasant makes, depending on the time of the day, night, and et cetera. My guys we've trained with over the years, so that is up to y'all, whatever y'all want to do with it.
I currently have 7 members that have been trained on what the electric tools that Mount Pleasant has at Cookville that got the gear, the dual cert gear, and are able to perform these tasks whenever.
I think, just speaking as a judge, not as for these 4 commissioners here, whatever we decide to do, if we put them with Cookville or Tri-Lakes, I think it ought to be a trial, 6 You never can know where the next accident's going to be, and I get that. As soon as you put it out there, you'll have one at Cookville. As soon as you have one at Cookville, it'll be out there. So with that being said, I don't mind let's doing it for a year and seeing if it is working, whichever one gets it, brings it to the other place. So we want these tools where that they can get to the scene of the accident. That's the whole goal at the end of the day, I think. So.
How much is a set of those jaws alive? How much do they cost roughly, do y'all know?
Down there costs 40.
About 50,000, I think.
40,000, 8,200. That's square cutter, battery starter, and strip.
Any discussion?
I know Nortex had bought some from, I think it was Omaha here a while back. I don't know the age of it, but
We think they're about a 2006, ain't that? Those tools were in the process of being purchased by 5-Star at the time that happened, and then we got our grant to get our new electric tool, and I passed that to Justin because they didn't have none, so they'd at least have something.
And you've got your set's down, is that right? So
same as
yours is
yeah, they're old, and they're probably the same as Jerry's. You know, they're old.
Would it help if, I don't know if they're interchangeable parts or not, if you give his old one to y'all and see if there's some parts off of it that you could use on it? They won't interchange. Yeah, different brand.
When they make them tools, they want to make them with a several 2 to 3 year period
to change.
Buy parts and they change the parts.
well, I think just my feelings on it is they probably ought to go to Cookville just because of the interstate and the proximity to everything out there. But that's my thoughts on it.
Anybody else?
It's hard to put them in one place because I mean, they could have a wreck down there, and that's the reason why they couldn't get them out, because they didn't have the deals. So it's just hard for me to say it goes to one place, you know what I mean? Because everybody needs them, if you need them.
You don't need them till you need them, and then you need them really fast and really quick. So
where they're at.
That's true.
When I had my wreck on the Green Hill Road, they were there cutting me out in minutes from.
Just like insurance, you don't need it.
You're just glad they didn't have to call in and bring them 45 minutes
from somewhere
later.
else. Yeah. So.
And I mean, I'm not saying nothing wrong, but you brought up that the number of calls that Tri-Lakes makes. Cookville makes quite a few calls.
I agree.
And
I'm
we
just
do
saying number-wise.
Yeah, I think a lot, the thing, we could do more if we did EMS calls, which we don't. And Jerry, unfortunately, they're at the lake, they get a lot of EMS calls. So I don't know if there's a way to look at the numbers without the EMS calls, you know, but it's whatever y'all wish to do. Maybe next year we could budget for another set. Maybe. I'm just saying maybe. It never hurts to ask.
It's always a Christmas list.
We purchased these with that tribal money that we needed to utilize for public safety, the scubas, and that's what purchased those. So we didn't use county money, it was grant money.
I'd say if we put them at Cook, like I said, let's don't be set in stone. They're always at Cookville. Let's see what happens. Put them at Cookville. See how that works. If we need to come back and vote again and move them to a different station, I don't want to be set in stone and saying that's the only spot we're going to have them. So, with that being said, I don't have a problem with them.
Cookville's good with doing a one-year agreement.
No.
Cookville's good with doing a one-year agreement, figuring out what we need to do this time next year.
Just once we start getting when we get our system in and we're tracking calls and we've got them in the computer, we'll know exactly. Once again, you can have all the data you want and all the wrecks have been right here, and then the next year it could change because nobody knows where the accident's going to happen. So
right.
That's our problem that we're going to run into.
Now, we do have an agreement that whoever got the equipment from the county, that if we maintain, keep it clean, keep it served, inspected, and that means they go to hereby over.
Right.
So,
y'all good with that?
Yeah.
I might have to cut somebody out of electric car.
Sir?
Might have to cut somebody out of electric car.
Okay. It's going to be something different. I don't even know if any of us have got training for cutting an electric car.
I make a motion that we put the extrication tools at Cookville for a one-year period and see how it goes there and go from there.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. Got a motion made by Commissioner Parker to move the extrication equipment to Cookville for a one-year period, and we got a second by Commissioner Applewhite. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries unanimously. Number 11 will be a repeat on the agenda, so we'll move on to number 12. Consider and possibly approve renewal of the Texas Association of Counties TAC medical and dental vision insurance for 2025. The good news is that the medical and the eye vision did not go up, only just the dental went up. Is that right? Ms.
The dental went up 3.5%, and everything else stayed the same.
With the way the things have been going up, I think that's outstanding that we got to be able to keep the medical rate at that. And so that is.
Well, this is the year, we get a raise. Usually when they get a raise, their insurance is double what, and I make a motion to approve the TAC.
Got a motion by Commissioner Applewhite to approve the TAC for our medical, dental, and vision insurance for 2025.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mitchell. Both on the hammer there. We have to open up the bidding just for you too. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 13, consider and possibly approve the quarterly investments report from Dana Wallace Applewhite.
sent those to you in your packet. It's the second quarter ending from June 30th, 2024. And this is before we get over to the people to see what kind of shades we're in.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Mitchell to approve that.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carry unanimously. Number 14, approve oral and written reports for the county officials.
Make a motion to approve.
We've got a motion made by Commissioner Parchman to approve the written reports.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mitchell. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Number 15, consider and possibly accept the treasurer's report as a matter of record.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parchman.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mitchell to approve the treasurer's report as a matter of record. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries unanimously. Number 16, Ms. Nanette.
We only have one budget amendment. It's Budget Amendment 2024-30. This budget amendment was to adjust some prior budgeting for federal prisoners to move some of the money to just feeding the prisoners that we would need to complete the year.
So you are going to feed them, you're saying back there?
Feed them.
Sheriff says he's going to feed them, so good.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Applewhite to approve the budget amendment.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All those in favor? All those opposed? Number 17, sign and pay orders and approve the payments.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
Got a motion made by Commissioner Parker to pay the order and payments.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parchman. All those in favor? All those opposed? Number 18, closing comments. Jeff, do you have anything today? Jody?
No, I don't have nothing.
I don't have anything.
Like I said, I spoke earlier about the sheriff's department over there and the good audit we got on the jail. If you've drove by the jail, we've got some materials for our new roof over there. And so are they saying when they're going to start? First of the month, October?
Supposed to be Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Looking at possibly this weekend or first weekend.
Perfect. And like I said, once again, just appreciate the job that the jail people did over there and making my job easy to come over there and get a smiling guy and telling me everything's good with our jail. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion made to adjourn by Commissioner Mitchell.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. We'll adjourn at 10:48.